an energy to be in these kind of buildings. It's wonderful. And thank you for coming tonight, for all of you for your presence here tonight. My name is Ferananda Ibarra, and I founded an organization called the Collective Intelligence Research Institute, based in France, as well as other projects related to the economy of economics, like metacurrency and emergent leader labs, which I will briefly talk about during my presentation. And well, my passion is collective intelligence, wisdom, and consciousness, and especially focus on new paradigm economics. Do I need it? Ah, he says I need it. I'm so sad. Now I need an extra hand here. Is it really working? Yes? We could install it like this. Oh, okay. Okay. That's better? You like it? Yeah, so that you're not like that. Okay, so be patient with me then. I don't like volumes. So where are we? Okay, so my presentation today is about invisible architectures. And the way I want to begin today is to invite you to see invisible architectures as a way in which we can create new realities by understanding how invisible architectures play a role in paradigm shifts. And to begin our journey, and I have to I think it's the other way around. Yes. Okay. In Collective Intelligence Research Institute, which I refer as CIRI, we believe that the economics that we design will really impact our capacity to achieve collective intelligence. And to really understand how to design new systems and new economics, we really express and we bring about the notion of invisible architectures to design a better world. So what do we mean by invisible architectures? So let me first give you an example of what visible architectures mean. So here we have a wonderful circled room. And we have chairs that are placed in a half moon. And this placement, this way that we created the space will have an impact in our social outcome. So it's not the same as having one presenter in a one-to-many format and you guys listening to me as if we were in a circle, where you can see yourself, where you can read the gestures, when you can have the expression of your body language, when there is not a back in front of you, but a human being. And you can see each other and see what's happening in the room all the time, right? The magic of the circle. So it's different architectures. Just think like when you go to a restaurant and you are like with a group of people and you sit in those long tables that are rectangle. It's very different than if you sit in a circle, right? Like, so if you're in a circle, you can communicate with others that are not necessarily, it gives closeness. But if you go in a rectangle, you'll not meet with the person that is in the other side of the rectangle. So a visible architecture, the way we shape it, will have an impact in the social outcome of that particular group. Place a group in a garden or place them in a jail, and it will certainly have a different outcome. So invisible architectures, the way we describe them, is that the invisible architecture structure and shape a collective organism in the same way that genetic code shapes your body. It is DNA, right? So DNA shapes your color of your hair, the color of your skin, your eyes, and other qualities of yourself. The same way, invisible architectures have an impact in the DNA of our social organism. And I'll extend on that. And the reason why these architectures are invisible is because in this early stage of our awakening, we haven't really created the social technologies to be able to see them, to be able to make them visible, and to be able to engineer them. So to give concrete examples, I'm going to first going down, let me see what is next. Oh, beautiful. This is my favorite slide. And I'm going to ask you to do something with me. So I really need to place these here. here so that we have a physical experience of what this means. So I'm going to ask you to do something with me. Get these two hands, put them in your mouth, and close your mouth. Just like a little hole, and now breathe through that. So imagine that you would have to walk like this, and that you would have to do exercise like this, and that would be, they told us that this is the only way. What if we would have to breathe through a straw? Now let it go, and take a deep breath. So this is, I'm suffering here. I need an extra hand. So this example, this is an analogy on how our monetary system is built. Money is an invisible architecture. It definitely shapes our social outcomes. I can literally affirm that all of you know how money shapes our behaviors and probably have had different kinds of experiences with that. So I imagine that they would have told us that the air was scarce and that we could only breathe with a straw, and we would totally believe that. We would actually believe that air was scarce, isn't it? The same way that we believe money is scarce, but because we're breathing through that straw. But if we take the straw away and we deeply breathe, we realize that, wow, earth is actually abundant. The same way that wealth is actually abundant. But we're made to think that money is wealth. And money is just a very, very small part of wealth. So that's how we study money as an invisible architectures and see how different design, if we change the rules, if we change the design of money, then it means it doesn't have to be scarce. We can tap into larger sources of wealth, and that's why we're seeing different alternative currencies emerge, right? Who knows here about alternative currencies? Probably everyone, right? So it's currencies that have a different design, like for example, time currencies, where instead of trading with money, you trade with your time. So 1 hour of my time equals to 1 hour of his time, and what we exchange is time. The same, we have mutual credit currencies, and we have the boom of the bitcoins. This currency that you mine from the internet, and then everybody's really scared of what is going to happen with the bitcoins. But that's not what we're here to talk about. I really like bitcoins because it's proving that the same trend of decentralization that we're seeing in other industries, think music, think film, think media, is too possible and happening in the monetary system. So we're seeing probably thousands of currencies. Air miles are currencies. If you come to me and you say, hey, Ferananda, I would really like to exchange with you 3 hours of your time for some air miles. Do you accept? Yeah, sure, give me the air miles. I'm happy with that. So money is scarce by design, and that is a very important thing to remember. But, since we kind of, in this time, I believe people are very informed around what is taking shape in regards to the monetary system, I'm going to give you another invisible architecture that as well shapes the social outcomes and is a DNA for a social organism. And that invisible architecture is called language. Think about it. Have you had the experience that you're talking to someone and you're really, really concentrating and focused to someone and they have a face like they're really not understanding one thing of what you're saying? Well, I hope it's not the case right now. Or, an experience, for example, when you are literally in a moment of transcendence, of you're touching the infinite, and you're having this awe at looking at a sunset, or you're in the presence of a death of a beloved, and you literally have no words. And when you want to express that, and when you want to transmit that to someone, then language disempowers your experience. Oh, that sunset was awesome. It was truly much more than awesome. It brought you to your knees, literally to the point of tears. It was more than awesome, but we have no words. So language around economics, because that's how I do it. If you think about economics and value, the language that we've built is mainly around the notion of money. We don't have language to express the fullness of what is wealth, and I'll go deeper into wealth. So if we build social realities through language, and that has a high impact in our social DNA, well, I think I forgot the slides. They were really important. Then that means that we can also create new language to consciously create new social realities that can encompass ever-widening notions of what is true, what is good, and what is beautiful. And here our friend Yasuhiko Kimura says a new world requires new consciousness for its development, and new consciousness parallels to the development of new language. So it seems a little bit like an, chicken and egg thing here. But to see examples, concrete examples on how we're literally caught in our own words, we will begin looking at specific words. So let's look at wealth. Through the study of biomimicry, we have observed that there is a wealth building pattern in the economic systems of nature. It has an incredible symbiosis, isn't it? It is just beautiful. Like the waste of one species is the food of the other, and there is an incredible relationship and mutualism among the parts, and that is the key of its success. And what does that mean? Well, it means that wealth is about being life-affirming, and it's not that we see a lot of in our economic system being completely life-affirming. So what do we need, And if you ask people, because, I give workshops all around the world, and when I ask people, hey, what is wealth for you? They come with, reputation, friendship, love, education, health, safety, freedom, and sometimes they even mention money. But what happens when we speak about someone that is rich, that has a lot of money? We say, oh, that person is wealthy. So there's something about this word that we need to come back to its true meaning. And if we would have more time, I could show you how we have distinguished in the Metacurrency Project different levels of wealth. So there is some wealth that can only be acknowledged, like, for example, love. No, you cannot measure love. Even when a kid asks you, do you love me more than my sister? He says, look, you cannot measure that. You can say, I love you both, but how can you measure love? You can measure health, right? And that's another kind of wealth. It's another level of wealth. It's measurable wealth. So I can measure your health because I can see the hormones, I can see, your blood pressure, I can see different kinds of metrics that will tell me how healthy you are, or even, just go on with you and walking up top of the mountain and see, are you healthy or you're not that healthy. But I cannot trade with your health. But there is then this tradable wealth, which is the smallest part of wealth that we kind of get to think that is the largest spectrum of wealth. So I cannot trade with your health, can I? But certainly, if I decompose your parts, I can trade with your organs and your blood and things like that. But I was not being trading with your health. I would be trading with parts of you. So there is this wealth that can be traded, wealth that can be acknowledged, and wealth that can be measured. Another way to think about it is that money is to wealth like bees are to honey. It's like if you think that bees are about producing honey, well, you're wrong. You're missing the point, because bees are responsible for the whole food system. They pollinate and they create all this incredible wealth. And the same thing with money. So what we're seeing as a shift in consciousness is that people are trying to do this, to realize and deeply go into what wealth is, and not only changing the language, but we actually think that we're in the time of a new expressive capacity for humanity in the ways that we relate and speak about wealth. So let's explore some other common terms that impact our consciousness. What about make a living? When you tell, or when you have heard, or when someone has asked you, how are you going to make a living? Well, last time I checked, I was alive. Do I really need to make a living? It's just like if you need to be productive. If you're not productive, then you're not good for society. And then we create all these patterns of anxiety for the people that really don't want to be productive. They just want to live, they want to be happy, they want to be in their bliss, they want to create, they want to be able to manifest their gifts and create beauty, and not necessarily that means or is tied to productivity. Time is money. I love this one. It says everything, right? People then get actions because they cannot be doing things that are enjoyed because time is money. Or what about, have you ever met someone that is broke? Right? Well, as a person that works in the transformation of consciousness and economics, I really try to extend the reach of myself and go into gift economies. So many times the ways I relate to people, I don't have clients, and the way I relate to people is by offering my gifts and then expecting that something will come back. It's so asymmetrical. It doesn't really need to expect something to come back, but I can tell you by experience, the more you give, the richer you become. And by doing that, yes, I look into my bank account and many times it's in zero. Zero. Does that mean that I am broke? Isn't it interesting that the verb to be places the attribute of being broke as an attribute of myself? I am not broke. I am not this. I am not that. Those attributes are not who I am. I might not have money, so I change my language and I say I have no money, but yet I'm thriving, I'm blossoming, because I can really give my passions and I'm not coerced by money. So let's take a quick look to other kind of things like you are in debt, human resources, competitive positioning, marketing strategy, return of investment, market, raise funds. All these words could literally change to encompass larger realities. So much of what we believe and much of what we're trying to change is roots in the terminology, the language that we use to discuss it, says Dave Pollard. So that means that if we want to change our belief systems, if we want to change our worldviews, we start to change. And we have to stop using that terminology because it anchors us in the paradigm that we're trying to change. So what if instead of using the word marketing, we could use the word interfacing? Or if instead of saying I give you something for free, I can say I offer it to you as a gift. What kind of behavior or different relationship would I have? And that connects me to this beautiful word that is emerging that is called giftivism. And giftivism is the practice of generosity. And we're seeing amazing examples like the Karma Kitchen in Berkeley, where once a week you go, and when they bring the account to your table, it's zero. And then you're free to give, or you're free to give for the next one, or you're free to sign up in the list and come the next week to offer cooking or serving tables or anything like that, so that you can be part of the wealth that is creating. Or couch surfing. You know, that network where you subscribe and you can travel all over the world and go to people's couch. And then they are with you, they come with you, they give you tips, they really embrace you as a friend. And you can travel the whole world couch surfing, literally. It's a gift. It's a gift of society. Sorry. And we have our own experience. We have our own experiments in the metacurrency, which we want to embody this gift or generosity economy. And what we have is we set an experience that we call Emerging Leader Labs. And for a period of 8 weeks, we receive leaders, visionary leaders from all over the world, and they're fed, and they're hosted, and they're transported, all as a gift. And they come and they receive a personal coach that works with them during these 8 weeks so that they can bring to life their ideas. And part of our purpose is to infuse that new DNA of a post-monetary world in such a way that if I create my vision, and if I have to think about then, oh, how is it going to make money? I don't compromise my vision because I'm thinking larger than that. I'm thinking about how am I going to attract wealth. I'm thinking in larger flows than just money. So that's where Charles Eisenstein says, in the gift economy, the more you give, the richer you are. And we can go on and go on and go on, you know, property and possessive pronouns like mine. This is my idea, my territory, my copyright, my land. You know, indigenous peoples laugh at us at the idea that we can even possess or try to possess land. Really, what does it create in our society when we believe some things are mine? So I think we really need to look at new notions of ownership, property, assets, and most especially when that is related to the commons. And the commons, as understood as the cultural and natural resources that are accessible for all members of society, such as air, water, soil, knowledge. And we're even changing the copyright models into Creative Commons so that people can choose what is the level of freedom that we want to give to the people that use, you know, our knowledge and other things. So I wrap up with this and ask the question of what kind of language would we use? What concepts would emerge that encompass more of what wealth truly is? An opportunity and perhaps a responsibility is that we constantly challenge ourselves to witness our language, to change our language in how we talk to others, how we write, and how we relate, especially when we are exchanging value with other human beings. So I invite you to develop new terms and expressions that can really create this world that we dream, a world that works for all. And I can guarantee you, if you transform your language will transform the reality around you. It will transform you. And that is a choice, it's your responsibility, and it's also an opportunity. So, take it. Thank you.